Welcome to the Hot Topic. As always, I'm your host, Darren Dyer. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I've been reading a lot about online recently. That's the WWE's tour coming up in Japan at the beginning of July. Been a lot of talk about it on Facebook, Twitter, dirt sheets, any sort of platform of social media, really. Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens for the NXT Championship in Tokyo, which is sure to be a hell of an event, hell of a match. With Finn Balor's history in Japan, and it sort of got me thinking: what would happen if we were to see a show between the two juggernauts of professional wrestling, the juggernaut of American professional wrestling, World Wrestling Entertainment, and the juggernaut of Japanese professional wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling? If these two companies were to collide on a super show, I would say it would have to be in Japan. This is just me booking a card. This is me doing some fantasy booking. Generally, I'm not very good at it, but I do enjoy doing it. What I've gone with, first things first, I was trying to avoid using Ring of Honor guys that also work for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Then I realised that you would lose a lot of star power and there would be a lot of guys, or a lot of holes on the card rather. So I've gone with guys who I think work more so for New Japan than what they do for Ring of Honor. So here we go. The first match I've got is a 5-on-5 tag team match. Team WWE versus Team New Japan. The New Japan team I've got as Tomoaki Honma, Taguchi, Captain New Japan, Beretta, and Rocky Romero, Roppongi Vice versus Team WWE, Tyson Kidd, Cesaro, the Usos, and Zack Ryder. 5 very popular WWE guys and 5 very popular New Japan guys from the undercard, that is. Honma's got a bit of a cult following in New Japan, which would attract any kind of fan because there's a lot of hardcore fans who like Honma. Taguchi reminds me a lot of, he's like a cross between, for me at least anyway, he's a cross between Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Eddie Guerrero. And I don't think you get much more of a bigger compliment than that. Captain New Japan generally works these kinds of matches, so that's why I've put him into this match. And Rocky Romero and Beretta, Roppongi Vice, I just put them in there because I think that, they could add that level of excitement to this match, that level of unpredictability. And they're very innovative as well. Two guys who, to be fair, with Rocky Romero, when he was part of Forever Hooligans with Alex Kozlov, as much as I thought they were a good team, I just didn't find them very entertaining. But it's almost as though Rocky's got a new lease of life now that he's teaming with Beretta. For the WWE, Kidd and Cesaro, everyone loves to watch Kidd and Cesaro. The hardcore fans, the casual fans, it would bring all kinds of demographics in. The Usos are more so popular among the casuals, so again, more fans from that demographic. And Zack Ryder, it was just a case of I needed a babyface to fill the spot, so Zack Ryder's put into that place. But he has got a hardcore fan base following. He's got over 1 million Twitter followers, so there's a level of popularity with Zack Ryder and a level of interest in Zack Ryder to warrant putting him into this match. The second match, what I've done, I didn't explain it, what I've done is 2 matches on a kickoff show and 10 on a 4-hour pay-per-view show. So the second match of the kickoff show is a 6-pack challenge match, elimination rules. Dolph Ziggler, basically got 3 guys from New Japan, 3 guys from WWE. Dolph Ziggler, Naito, Neville, Yoshihashi, R-Truth, and Cody Hall. Simply, I needed to fit as many guys in as possible. And that's not to say that these guys are just thrown in because there was nothing else for them. Well, a few of them there were. But it was just a case of, putting all these 6 guys together. I think they can make something happen here. You give them 15-20 minutes to show what they can do. And I think that you'd get magic in the ring. Naito is one hell of a wrestler. Dolph Ziggler, former World Heavyweight Champion. Neville, former NXT Champion. Really setting the world alight with his style in WWE. Yoshihashi's one just to get him on the card. The same with Cody Hall, really. And R-Truth again, just to fill up the spot on in the match. But I think the 6 guys, they could make something happen if this match were to happen. Make something magic. So on to the main pay-per-view itself, and where I say I put up 10 matches for this particular card. The first match is an IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match. The Young Bucks being the champions versus the Time Splitters versus, I've gone with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods from the New Day, and Jushin Thunder Liger and Mascara Dorada. Liger can sell out any arena in the world, I would say, just because of who he is. Dorada is one hell of an exceptional talent. Anybody who's not seen Dorada, I highly recommend that you get onto that because he really is exciting. He's really something special to watch. The New Day, the arrogant heels of the match, and personally I'd love to see a war of words in the match, like trash talking in the match between Xavier Woods and Matt Jackson. I'm really not a fan of Matt Jackson. I think he's a pompous, arrogant piece of shit. But you know, that's the Young Bucks style, isn't it? The Young Bucks, the most marketable tag team in the world, there's no doubt in that. And the Time Splitters, one of the most innovative tag teams in the world, if not the most innovative. I love watching these guys in the ring. Very fun to watch, and they always bring something new to the dance, whether they're wrestling in singles competition or if they're wrestling in tag team competition. Always fun to watch, always exciting, and there's always that level of unpredictability about them. So that's why they're in here. Former Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions as well. The next match, NXT versus the Bullet Club. What two hotter things in professional wrestling do we have right now than NXT and the Bullet Club? NXT is this great, exciting brand of professional wrestling put out by WWE's chief executive, or executive, whatever the hell he is, Triple H, as their developmental brand. And you've got the Bullet Club, arguably the most popular stable in professional wrestling right now. So for the two teams have gone Sami Zayn, Hideo Itami and Finn Balor for Team NXT. And for the Bullet Club, Takahashi, Kenny Omega and Tama Tonga. And I've gone with Bad Luck Fale in their corner. I just really don't like Fale, but there's never hurts to have a bit of muscle in your corner if you're a heel team, at least anyway. There's history as well with Finn Balor being the original the original leader of the Bullet Club as Prince Devitt, and then you've got Hideo Itami, who would bring in Japanese fans to maybe side with the Americans, and then maybe Kenny Omega, with him being American, to bring Americans to side with the Japanese team. So you can have a mixture of fans, like Americans cheering for the Japanese team and Japanese cheering for the American team, something that I think would make for quite an interesting mix. Intercontinental Champion versus Intercontinental Champion. Ryback versus Haruki Goto. It was put out there by Daniel Bryan a few months back saying that when WWE eventually go to Japan, he wanted to have a match with Shinsuke Nakamura, both being the respective Intercontinental Champions at the time. WWE turned that offer down, or turned that request down. But it's his fantasy book and I'm making it happen. Intercontinental Champion versus Intercontinental Champion. I don't think they would have a great match, but I do think that they could have a very good match. There's a difference between great and good. Great is what we saw between John Cena and Kevin Owens last week at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. And good is just your bog standard match that you would get on any sort of card, really. Next is arguably the number two guy, or number two guys in each company. Okada, Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker, versus Randy Orton. Two great workers, and I think that they could put on a hell of a show. Orton's the kind of guy who really needs someone to bring out the best in him to put on a great match, and I think that Okada could be that kind of person. I don't think it would be a very fast-paced match, but I think that it would be one of those kinds of matches where the pace picks up towards the end of it. Kind of like a lot of Okada matches do that. And a lot of Randy Orton matches do that as well, as of late. You've got the best drop kick in the world versus arguably the best drop kick in the WWE. Both men use the Hangman's DDT. And then you've got the RKO versus the Rainmaker, two of the best finishing moves in professional wrestling at this moment in time. So there's a lot of interesting dynamics within this match. Okada's very popular among the hardcore fans in the States. Randy Orton's very popular among the casual fans in the States. What Orton's like with the Japanese fans, I'm not sure, but Okada's very much over wherever he's been. So again, it makes for a very interesting match. The dynamics of this match, I think they would just work. The next match on the card. So we've got NXT versus Bullet Club. Why don't we have the Shield versus Bullet Club as well? Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns versus Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. And arguably the two most dominant factions in the last 5 years of professional wrestling. Arguably the two most over factions of the last 5 years of professional wrestling. And the two most exciting factions of the last 5 years of professional wrestling. Ambrose and Reigns, I've always found that they've got good chemistry together. Anderson and Gallows, former tag team champions together. I just think the dynamics of this, again, you've got the Bullet Club and the Shield. You know, that's just money. You put that on any marquee, that will make money. It'd just be a fun match. You know, give it 10, 12 minutes. It doesn't really need any more than that. I think it would just be a really fun match. And I would love to see Ambrose and Reigns coming out old Shield style down the down through the fans in a Japanese arena. I think that would be really cool. Excuse me. Sheamus and King Barrett versus Makabe and Suzuki. This is just going to be a physical brawl. Just something where both teams are kicking the shit out of each other. You've got the never openweight champion in Makabe. You've got the two biggest brawlers in WWE, two of the best brawlers in WWE, Sheamus and Bad News Barrett. And Suzuki, well, he just likes to fight. He's an MMA fighter as well. So he doesn't mind taking an ass kicking. And, you know, I think that this would just be fun. It doesn't necessarily have to last very long. You give it 6 or 7 minutes. But I think just the dynamics of it with 4 guys being brawlers who don't mind getting busted open the hard way, 4 guys who will fight through injuries, fight through pain. It's just going to be a lot of fun. The next match on the card, where are we? The IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Now, this is a match that really could be your match of the year, your 5-star match of the year, and I don't think anybody can ever doubt this. When I spoke to a few people about this on Facebook, and Tim Vicious said, well, the obvious match for Daniel Bryan is Nakamura. That's a good suggestion, Tim. That is a good suggestion, but I've got an IWGP Heavyweight Championship match. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. Oh, versus Samoa Joe as well. If you haven't just had a Randy Marsh moment, Tim, I don't know when you will ever have another Randy Marsh moment, because I just thinking of things just off the top of my head. I say I'm not very good at booking, but I think I may have pulled a rabbit out of the hat with that one. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan versus Samoa Joe for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. By the way, I'm booking this show where, you know, I'm not considering any injuries or suspensions or anything like that. Everybody's available. Everybody's fit and healthy. You've got history between Styles and Joe from TNA. I mean, you look at the matches that they had involving Christopher Daniels as well, the triple threat matches in the X division. And then you've also got history between Bryan and Joe as well from their Ring of Honor days. We're talking like 10, 12 years ago when these matches were going on, but you know, these guys work a much more, they work a little bit of a safer style now. They work, what's the word I'm looking for? They've changed it to adapt. They've adapted with the times. They're obviously 10, 12 years older, so they've adapted to what their bodies can handle, but still 3 of the very best wrestlers in the world right now, and 3 of the most exciting wrestlers as well. So Bryan versus Joe versus Styles for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. This, as I say, this is your Randy Marsh moment for the evening, ladies and gentlemen. The next match, this was a match where it's 2 WWE guys, and it's the only WWE versus WWE match. There are no New Japan versus New Japan matches. WWE versus WWE. One babyface, one heel, and I was really trying my hardest to get these guys onto the card to face New Japan guys, and I just really could not come up with anything for either of them. So I thought, one's a big babyface, one's a monster heel. Just put them together. And you got Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens. This is just going to be a brawl. This is going to be fun. Both guys can wrestle. Both guys can fight. Both guys can hurt one another. Both guys can... There's nothing that these guys can't do between them. This would just be... You give this 20 minutes and you've got one of the most exciting professional wrestling matches of all time. Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar. You don't even have to have the NXT Championship on the line. You can just have it one-on-one. Paul Heyman obviously in the corner of Brock Lesnar. And if this match were to have a build-up, imagine the promos between Kevin Owens and Paul Heyman. It's just gold. Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens. In Japan as well, where Brock Lesnar is a former IWGP Heavyweight Champion, might I add. Kevin Owens has spent a portion of his career in Japan. I can't think of any more ways I can describe this match. This could be another contender for a match of the year. Because both guys, neither of them are going to give up. Neither of them are going to lay down for the other one. They're both going to come out swinging. They're both going to come out fighting. And it's going to create money. Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar. Excuse me. Where are we up to? WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. This isn't the main event. Seth Rollins defending against Shinsuke Nakamura, Kota Ibushi, and Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt more so thrown into this match, but you can easily insert him into this match. Ibushi and Nakamura have great chemistry. Anybody who saw Wrestle Kingdom 9 will know that. And Seth Rollins, being the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, obviously needs to be on the card. Nakamura is a guy who likes to have a lot of fun. Rollins is a guy who likes to be more serious and doesn't like to have fun. So that's your sort of beef between those two. Ibushi, great chemistry with, as I say, with Nakamura. He had a great match with AJ Styles as well, fairly recently. And Bray Wyatt adds that level of unpredictability to the match. So you put all four together, I think it's just going to create money. I don't see where there's a flaw in this match. We're not talking language barriers here. We're just excluding language barriers. World Heavyweight Championship on the line as well. Rollins, Nakamura, Ibushi, and Bray Wyatt. Somebody tell me where that's going to go wrong, because I think that's just going to be a great match if that were to happen. The main event, and before I started recording, I was thinking, do I have this match as the main event or the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match as the main event? But I think that this is the only match that could main event this card. The face of World Wrestling Entertainment, John Cena, versus the face of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Again, this would sell out arenas all over the world. This is a marquee match. You put this on any billboard of any arena in the world and tickets will go like that. You've got Cena, who brings in the casual fans. There's a lot of adult fans as well who like John Cena. I personally think that John Cena could wrestle a very good match with Hiroshi Tanahashi. And if offered a ticket, I would most certainly be in attendance. Tanahashi has a hardcore fan base, not only in Japan, but in the States as well. So it's an interesting dynamic here where you've got probably more American hardcore fans probably going to be siding with the Japanese guy than there would be with the American guy. And if you're British like me, you can cheer for whoever the hell you want. I personally would think I would be on the side of Tanahashi. But if this were booked by WWE, you know John Cena's winning. If it's booked by New Japan, you know Tanahashi's winning. It's something I might have to simulate on WWE 2K15, I think. This would just be a money match. You know, if this was in the Tokyo Dome, which I believe holds around 45,000 for wrestling events, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. Tickets gone like that. There's no question about it. And for most of these matches on this card as well. So yeah, that's my fantasy booking for a WWE versus New Japan Pro Wrestling show. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I've only got 27 subscribers, so please, 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 please subscribe. And tell your friends as well, if your friends are into wrestling, get them to watch this video. Follow the Twitter page at SD Breakdown. Like the Facebook page. SmackDown, facebook.com/SmackDown That Like. Check out the website, the link is below. I do need to update the website, but I will be doing that at some stage today. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and hopefully get some feedback on what I just discussed with WWE versus New Japan Pro Wrestling.